Welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
Big news. This is Steven. This is Tony. My NCS.
So, as you've noticed, the Sideshow family has grown. We brought in all the boys to join us and be part of this whole thing.
Somebody in the front.
Yeah, right. Hey, that'd be a great, dude, if we could do this in front of a live studio audience. I'd love to be able to say that. And this was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Hey, look, I just said it. Yeah, right? Or what was the other one? The Fonz, bro. Come on. Ooh, that's old. Sebastian's like, what's that? How was everybody's couple of days, man? Pretty good? Did you guys watch the verdict? Were you guys all up on the TV watching that shit closely?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What do you guys think? Yeah, so he got it on all three counts, but they haven't given him his how long, right? You think so? Oh yeah, no, got you down. Okay, good. Go ahead.
I thought we were going to do minimum of 5 to 10, and then up to 40 years. I thought that's what I heard. Or is that not correct?
Well, you're correct. They got to do an actual sentencing. So there's going to be a court date for that, the actual sentencing stuff to find out exactly how many years he gets.
Yeah.
Isn't it a recommended minimum and maximum?
Correct, but the judge has
Right.
Whatever the judge recommends the sentencing.
Since he was guilty on all three counts, all three counts have to minimum.
Correct. So all
He did, he served on all three counts.
concurred. Or considered.
But it's still up to the judge what he actually gets. Is that correct? The prosecution the right way, yes, and the judge will. Okay, so when everyone was pleased that I'd say justice has been served, don't you think we're jumping the gun a little bit? Because we still feel the same if the judge gave them the minimum, or even less than the recommended minimum. Yeah. Will we still feel justice was served? I still feel that justice was served. Because I was guilty. Correct. So if he spent one night in jail, you're still cool with that?
Well, if he spends one night in jail, he's coming out in the bag. Go ahead.
I mean, the judge said he served the fact that he was, found guilty of murder. I mean, that's what justice is being served. I mean, this is the first time that happened.
No, I think it's like the seventh or the last one. But I think this is the first one that's been like televised. Like this day and age with media and stuff.
I think he's going to get 10. Well, maybe not. Yeah, they will consider it or concurrent, like that. That's right. They ran all together.
Well, when I was watching TV, if I remember correctly, they said something about one of them could carry up to 20 years, and then the other ones they said he could, but depending on how they run it, he could serve up to 12 and a half years, and then he would be out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a couple questions. There's a couple things that always bothered me about, the pen and people coming out of the pen and all that stuff, because we always grew up that, hey, you go to jail, you serve your time for the crime that you did, and then when you're supposed to come out, you're supposed to have been rehabilitated and you come out with a clean slate. more or less. But nobody ever gives you that clean slate, right? So let me ask you this: do you feel that the justice system really rehabilitates people, or is it really a school for criminals, or both? Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. You guys are, sometimes you guys don't give us time to get something, and it kind of gets back in the same situation that you were in before they left. And that's why the incident didn't make it so long. They've done a new thing. If you measure and conditional disability, you have to go back and live in the same neighborhood that you were already in. And because you're on the same people, you know, you're going to keep doing the same things that you can. You know, you don't have a strong support system for the so look what you got, right? Kids, you got all the motivation in the world to do that. Some of that don't, and that's why they just get up there and go right back to it. Start like this. That ain't gonna make it.
I met nobody at no party. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
28 times he was 16.
Wow.
He never spent more than 2 years. My first time I did on the spot. In the drug handler. And that's where a lot of these problems come from. What do you guys think about his reaction when he was guilty? You know, you see the eyes kind of going back and forth, looking out the corner. You know, I think a different reaction from him would have said a lot, but him having that kind of faith, like, he did seem a little shocked, but I felt like his reaction was, you know what, I'm going to go to prison, I'll find piece it up, I'm going to be touched, you know, do my pretty sure he ever out. So, pretty sure he ever did. Yeah. He said it all.
Well, I'm sure he knew that you know, it was on such a huge stage, and you know, there was so much commotion about it that the justice system, I'm sorry, I don't know if they got it right or not, but they knew that they had to get it right in order to placate the audience, which is, you know, us as human beings, and watching this and wondering, man, are they going to do the right thing? Because at some point, like, I was sitting there, I'm like, well, there's a possible chance that no matter what, there's going to be riots, that there's going to be people out in the streets doing things, because a party of happiness could turn into a riot real quick. You know what I mean? Somebody says the wrong thing, or something happens, and it tips the scale. So was it the justice system that got it right because they were following the law, or was it the justice system that got it right because they felt they had to?
They absolutely had to, man. Especially all the lights are going down and all that stuff happening. I mean, they had to have to get in. And that's everything a lot of people are looking for. But, you know, right things, man. Good thing you do something good, right? Bad thing, right? You know, people win the World Series. It was your town. It's like, man. I was in put some pressure on them to make sure that there's a strong case, you know, just present the facts and just watch the case. That's exactly what happened. In terms of, they felt pressure like, well, if we don't do these the right way, if we don't do that there's going to be rights. I know they're not thinking like that. They're just focusing on presenting the strong case and presenting the facts. And look at everything, totality of everything. This case was completely different than any other case that you had topped. They had these police to testify against them, saying that those tactics, you don't use that. And what he did was wrong.
Right.
So you look at the totality of it, very represented in the case that they presented. It was, they got it right. I was getting this from that. He said the people that was that testified through, that made a lot of people look at the difference. A situation that he and I was in prison. When I got I got arrested, and I got caught with an absolute. And when I went to prison, when I went to court, they told me they wanted to give me like 12 years. And everybody was like, what the hell? 12 years? They said I was gang affiliated and I was selling weed to promote my gang environment. Now it's a weed. Went to court, fought it. Minimum they would come down is 4 years, 8 months. For a year, I'm fighting. And I'm like, damn. 4 years, everything. 4 years, 8 months. They let me down. So I go to my final court date to turn myself in, and the judge is going over my paperwork, and he looks at me and says, Mr. Gutierrez, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, what do you mean, Your Honor? He's like, this is a substantial amount of time for what you possess. And I just gave a man 6 months for 200 pounds of marijuana. And he goes, I think you need to reconsider. And I said, well, I've been fighting it for a year, Your Honor, and the DA doesn't want to come down. I've been trying. And he goes, he had a sidebar with the DA. You could see that how upset the judge was with him. And so they called, he said, hey, you need time to think about this, Mr. Gutierrez. You have a family, and I really want you to reconsider. So go ahead and take another month to think about it. So I'm walking out of the courtroom, and I'm happy. I got action. Like, yeah, the DA comes out and he tells me, he goes, oh, you think you're a wise guy? I'm like, what do you mean? You think you're smart? I said, no. He's like, you're going to beat the gang enhancement, and you're probably get 16 months. But I'm going to hit you with child endangerment charges because the ounce of weed was in the house. And anybody could run in there and take it from you and miss your kids' lives and stuff. I said, what? He goes, you're not going to be able to go home, and you're not going to be, your kids are not going to be able to see you while you're in prison. I looked at him and said, you need 4 years, 8 months, piece of shit.
That was messed up.
But that's, but how do you correct that? Like how?
The thing was with my case, it was big because they had the Riverside police that my cousin. And they had got me 30 minutes, they got me and killed him. And they got me 30 minutes, and we're supposed to be in this over crazy guy and stuff. And they found my house with me. And they did not know when I was in the substation and they had me and my wife and my kids and my mother-in-law, the kids were handcuffed there in the bus. And it was a big deal because they had killed somebody.
Right.
So, my wife, my mother-in-law, and my children by themselves. And they came and pointed me like bags and just tossing shit like they're pissed on shit. You know? And then when they got me for questions, and they were just like, man, we know you're a good guy. We know you about just messing with it and this and that. And, we need guns and we need dogs and we need this. And I said, man, we should have got the motherfuckers and guns and dogs, man, take me back to myself. And I went and turned myself in with it, 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, there's so much, and so let me ask you, Ivan. So you have that was your minor, right? Criminal justice. That was your major. So what kept you from going into criminal justice or using your degree?
Well, I started working for the company. They just requested
Okay.
and I went to where my life was at. So I just stuck with it. But being a cop is something that I always wanted to do when I was in high school.
Bro, if you were a cop and I'd fucking act right all day long if you pulled me over. There's no fucking way. But it's, and that's the hard part about, seeing people that want to be cops, that have a good, kind heart and a kind disposition, and know and understand that job can change the community in both ways, really, really bad, or they're going to make a difference in the lives of those people in that community. And I think more and more, and especially with the media and cell phones and the internet and all that shit, has really changed, and it's changed the profile of how people look at police officers. And I think that this trial and the cops going on the stand, just like Rob said, and went against him, is going to change that whole brotherhood system that the cops have.
Talk about cell phones. That's one of the things that they brought to light when they were visiting the Rodney King case. Remember Rodney King? That was huge, but bringing, footage. But, so it's more like, more for the cameras, more for the cameras, not just the cell phone. You got the couch, body cam, you got all these different views of footage of what is going on. So that makes sense for the jury to see all that from multiple angles. That knows exactly what's going on from all these different perspectives. It's so more likely. Just like your own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you brought up an interesting point about Rodney King. I was going to bring that up earlier too when you guys were talking about swaying the decision of going to be the courts. But in my case, I was thinking, if I was a juror, that would be the first thing that would probably go through my head is, do I want another Rodney King situation? Not to say that this cop was innocent. Obviously, all the LAPD cops got away with almost manslaughter, but they got away with
Beating a man.
with crime. That was very criminal what they did. And you saw what happened there during this Rodney King verdict. But this guy actually took a life, and if they didn't find him guilty, I think it would have been Rodney King times 10.
What's crazy was, how long was the year was made? 9 minutes?
9 minutes.
What the fuck, dude? Really, 9 fucking minutes and stuff. Really, dude, down already on stomach. 9 minutes, bro. And it was over 9 minutes, bro.
Yeah, you got bystanders that telling them like you're killing me, dude. And none of them are batting an eye.
9 minutes, bro. I'm on the
Little kids witnessing these guys, being murdered.
You're one of the people that testified who was there. And she was saying that she was and she was trying to express to the cops what they were doing, right? Telling them what she could see based on her knowledge and her experience. And bring up the point of the Rodney King. There's different, it's not, that case was like different because of the fact that they're able to get a change of meaning to scene value. The scene value is completely different than from where it happened.
Right.
The scene value is a different type of community. It's more to say, I would like to do things, but it's also where there's a lot of toxic living. So if you're drawing from it, you're pulling from that. You have people with a totally different perspective and approach going to law enforcement based on where it's going to happen or would happen if they will pull the jury from there. So it's almost like they set themselves up to give themselves a fighting chance, which they did.
Do you think there's any difference in regards to Rodney King lived, George Floyd died? Rodney King didn't become submissive. He didn't fight back, but he didn't stop what he was doing either. Whereas George Floyd was on the ground, pinned by the knee. So don't you think that it's different in those that, because again, one died, one didn't.
Oh, that fool was on PCP. He was drugged out. That's the only reason why he survived getting pummeled that way. I mean, because he led them on a long chase before they actually pulled him over, and that dude was gone. And to see his face like the next day and how awful he looked, like fucking Elephant Man when they put him on the T, like awful, dude. But I think the only way he survived that is because he was so high. Well, you're right. But then again, there was also that shortly after that There was that song by Ice Cube that says, "Who got the video camera?" or "Who got the camera?" It's that whole thing, and that's exactly what he was talking about now. Is that because everybody's got a camera at their disposal? So, oh, shit's happening. I mean, everybody's got their hand and their phone in their hand all the time. So when shit happens, there's no escaping it. Somebody's going to catch it.
You got one video is pretty good to watch. You want to rewatch it, you know, stuff. One of those situations, there was another situation that happened not too long ago out in Fontana, several years ago. This one actually had audio of, I think it was like a homeless gentleman who was getting beat down by the police there. And I mean, they went at it, they're tasing him, they're hitting him with a baton, and they went killing him. And the dude's yelling like for his dad, like, "Dad, help me!" Like, it is something like that. Like, I understand what gives these cops the right to be the executioners, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so the homeless person totally doesn't break it. Because, you know, I think it really had one community to put the sense of they were sure that he's not a sucker boy. They should have stopped it. Right, so he's does what he do. You got 4 times, everybody feed him, you're teasing him. When you do got burgers, regardless of what it is, okay? Had he been killed, I think it would have been maybe different circumstances. I think we would have got something from him.
Well, growing up, when I grew up, that was every week from the cops.
But no one really
We didn't tell you what they didn't kill us really. They just beat the shit out of us back then.
Well, you know that's where all the shit actually started. It wasn't with.
I mean, they kill people here, but like now it's like right away they pull the trigger before they beat the shit out of you. They can set it pretty good on you, then kill you.
Hey, you got that extra 38 in the trunk still? Bring that Saturday night special. I think you tried to shoot me. No, you're absolutely right, dude. I sat on so many curbs. She was crazy all the time. Because you didn't? No. Well, yeah, no, it's definitely a weird time to be alive to see that. It's good that we're alive to see it. And hopefully it's the beginning of a change that should have happened a long time ago. You know what I mean?
I feel it. I never felt it. I feel it because I know now they're not going to get away with everything like that.
Yeah.
Being a true victim of it, you know? And like Rob says, that dude, the eyeballs, man, in the jury room, they're just like I did. Oh man, one thing is something teaching history or maybe animation, but I'm just saying, you know, whatever, like there's court case and getting all the time.
It'd be really cool is if you were a teacher, you could bring out this podcast and be like, yeah, me, my dad, and a bunch of friends used to talk about this shit on the radio or on the internets. We won't mention the school you're going to teach at. It's okay. I know it.
So, I'm not every police officer is triggered after. Because one time, I was a freshman in high school. Yeah, many ones ago.
Is that when they were still riding horses?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah. So the face showed me called horses. I was in one of those ROTC style programs. It was similar to I wore it all. So we were in the armor clean our rifles and what you're doing with that.
Is that a euphemism or you?
No. The color got rifles going for ceremonial.
The white ones, right?
Well, they were actually M1s.
Okay.
Like real M1s. They were, yes. And yeah, you couldn't even, yeah, you wouldn't be able to use it for anything else but ceremony. Anyway, but it was a, brown, panels and everything came in legit. And we were playing, ninth graders, freshmen in high school, were playing war games in campus. But we were in the high school campus. We didn't think nothing of it. Someone must have driven by and saw a bunch of freshmen kids around with rifles. They called 911. So it's going, I'm like hiding, sniper position, waiting for my buddies to come across. I go bang, and I hear a car driving right behind me. I turn around and I see a cop. I'm like, oh shit. No, he just slams on the brake and he gets out screaming, "What the gun? Now put your weapon down!" And I'm scared shit and screaming, "It's not real!" I was like a deer in headlights. And he kept repeating his commands. I put it down. He's still screaming, "It's not real!" I'm like, oh man, I hope he doesn't shoot me. So I spoke to a friend here at the hospital. I sent back up. Now I wouldn't freeze like it did. I know what to do, but still, I mean, that dude was like, he had his sights on me. And I was straight. And I have my sons and my buddy. And pretty much, yeah, so, he makes me, walk backwards, hands up, all that stuff. And he comes right behind me, obviously, he has me get on my knees, and I have knees too. He puts me right in my middle of my back, slams me on the ground.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
I'm just asking for a friend, bro.
I was a young 14-year-old at the time. Oh, yeah, I was trying to
He couldn't see it. He couldn't see you at all to see it.
This was you didn't have the white gloves.
So honestly, he didn't know.
That's not an experience.
No, he would say, if you would have turned around, I would have shot you in the head. Well, the thing is, the guy, I'm holding an M1, he doesn't know it's not functional. If I would have turned around, of course, he's going to think, okay, he's going to, it's either get him or me. So luckily for me, this particular police officer was not a trigger happy police officer. So not every cop out there is a bad cop, so kudos to those of you guys in blue who are here to protect and to serve. I was not traumatized, but I brought it on to myself. I see where why he had to do what he did.
Don't forget you're consuming light skin, Mexican food. Oh, yeah, they thought I'm crazy ass white kid.
Well, then you started talking, you probably thought, they're not Russians at the school. But everyone is going on. Holy shit.
I was saying, well, it seems like the cops, like, to them, it's not continue to fuck you up the rest of your life. You still think about it.
Yeah,
Same shit as the cops is that thing.
I wanted to become a humble preacher.
What, because you like me?
I just, what, like, being real.
Because if you're not first, you're last.
I don't like doing things, man. Anything close to 3 ways.
And they have a decent salary, too.
Fuck that, I can't get on a cop's family plan. Yeah, but he's already been in the military. They broke him down and built him back up.
I was kind of defense of the branch. When I was in it was Army.
Because he wouldn't fit in the fucking cockpit anyways. Look at him. A fucking monster. Or in a submarine. How? Holy shit, I was just thinking about how. Like a fucking turtle shell. Holy shit.
And I brought fiance at the time. She came over and she got to get inside this Cobra. And I wanted so bad to get in that Cobra, take a picture inside the Cobra. I could not fit in that damn thing. You have to be like 5 foot nothing and real petite to fit in the cockpit of these Cobras. It's tight in there. It is super tight. It's all compact. And obviously, it's done this compact for a reason because you want a narrow piece of a weapon there that's hard to target. So
Right. Holy shit. I couldn't have. Yeah, I never wanted to go to any one of the fucking military branches. You did? What'd you want to be? Yeah?
Yeah, now that I think about it, I would like to go to the Army, but I was actually still trying to go, but since I got shot. I didn't have a record until I was, I think, 27. I mean, I'm not going to the juveniles.
Right.
Like, as an adult, I got posted a couple times to county time.
Nice thing about yourself at the war games.
Yeah, bro, you can't have feedback.
How old were you when you first got
I was, I think, the first time.
Fuck, Rob.
I was like 18. Time I got here, my dog got shot too, bro. She loves to do with the gun. She got hit in the mouth.
Thank you.
And her shoulder and lost one lung. And my parents saved her life.
wow.
She was there. Who was that? My brother. My brother. Yeah, because most of us had been shot.
Did you say they saved the dog and spent $2,000? Dude, I don't get that, bro. Like,
She was, I've been on my second generation since when my family, since I was 5 years old. So someone down the line in the family has always been.
okay.
I had her, so she was just real close to the family. So when she got shot, everybody was like, really young.
All right, real quick, we're going to go around it. Ivan, do you have animals?
Yes.
What's the most you'd ever spend? What kind of animal first? Let's start off there.
I don't know.
And what's the most you would ever spend to save your dog?
Zero.
Thank you. Hello.
You a damn liar.
Right? What kind of dog you got? Big Lou?
Before Cobra started, I only had two. I had 2 dogs.
Yeah, no, your stories are long. Just real quick, how much would you pay? How much would you pay?
I'm going to burn it. I have to come in. It would have been $0 to live my dogs, right? $0, and I had my dog. I got her moved. My oldest daughter moves back home with me. She brings her dog. $0 from that dog. She could spend it on her own. But I got my youngest daughter a puppy. And she went,
How much would you spend to save a fucking dog? That's all I want to know. Fuck.
You gotta get this puppy. And again, my oldest daughter comes in with her dog.
Hold on, Lou. We're going to make this easy. Your first dog, how much would you spend to save it? Second dog, how much would you? Third dog, and your fourth dog. How much? My little Oliver. You big ass Mexican Viking have a dog named Oliver? All right, good. I got my answer. Good. Steven. Yeah, I know. How much would you spend to save any of Ivan's dollars? You were fucking lose dogs, right? You have animals? What do you have? Okay. How much would you pay to save that dog?
I will spend whatever to keep him up, to keep him alive.
Really?
I would just because he's a family dog, he was black for some reason. And if you're not seeing out there, getting healthy, then I would spend all the time. I don't even have that financial limit.
Okay.
So, I had 15 before he got sick, and they pretty much told me that he was done, and I still spend money to try to help him.
Really?
And it didn't work out.
Fuck.
And at the time, I'm talking like 4 hours later, I dropped blue, and yeah, she's not gonna work. I was like, fuck. And so that, but at least I tried. At least I tried.
And the vet wasn't like, no, really, don't spend any because it's not gonna.
No, but there's a vet you can trust me. He doesn't do anything. But we might be able to charge you for the euthanasia and stuff. So still didn't with that bill. I don't think you did.
Wow.
Now, but that was a rough with my pit bull. My name was King Cooper. There was a dog. We were a family dog for about 7 years. And that was tough, man. Tough loss for the family. That King Cooper, man. Yeah. I got him cremated and everything. He's in the box right now. And I'll tell you what, man. When
Hold on. Your dead dog's in a box in the house?
absolutely, bro. How many you got that right now?
Why? I can't fucking head him. Man, fucking rake marks in the top of the box. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna put my finger in the ash. I'm gonna draw them on your forehead like they did Simba and shit. All right, Tony. I know, right, Tony? I know we talked about this before, but
I don't remember what my number was, but I do have a number that I got from one of Rob's letters.
I got mine out from the glue.
Okay.
So I do have, it's not unlimited funds like.
What's
No, what I said was like $2,000, I think.
Yeah.
After that, it's like $2,000. No.
How many times would you spend that to save the same dog? Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is a family decision I'm making right now. I was lying. Because Martin was put some money into that dog. And God was just a run.
Well, but the question was, I asked Ivan said, ouch. Oh, that's the motherfuckers that jump really high, right? Is that the one from Mask? You didn't say that. She said, "What the fuck is this?"
It's nothing that okay. But it was just case in point. My dad comes over. My dad is 6'5", big dude, just like me. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe she just doesn't like me because of my size. That was my guess. That was our guess. You thought about it first. I did. The way I'm looking for him. So on the couch, dog comes up, right in his lap. I started licking his face, and I'm standing there. You mother. But this is love. I say zero because me and Mark are having this conversation. It's zero. I mean, that's really my daughter dogs close that dog. Like, if we're not spending dollars on the dog. What do you think? I'm sorry. Just like we have here. You know, why somebody something. You said that's my dog. She's old. I didn't see her up for a very long time. Very long time. Still has nothing to tell. Yeah, what if you were on right now? She was gone. She was gone. Yeah.
You'd be like, Dad, I haven't seen the dog in days. Be like, what dog?
I'm good. When I was growing up, I got really taxes on us. That was the kind of dog that I wanted to lean towards. That once she died, she was called
Be a manly ass dog over.
And it's funny because people say the pictures of professors and perfect. You got two children party asshole James too.
What about you? How much would you spend for your dogs?
Whatever I could afford.
Yeah?
I would bring I would we would be on the streets, but my dog I'm actually getting a new one.
Another one?
Yeah, man. Now, I've never had any other type of dog besides people. So it's my first time I'm getting a picture.
Right on.
So that's another point to make. Another point, like the dogs that you got are nice dogs. Oh, it's like a showdown. You know, the dog you just picked up, they're ain't cheap. They're not. They're bred to right for kids and bred kids. So, anytime it's all about chromosomes when it comes to breeding and breeding is weird, man. That's what I'm saying. If you're dropping that kind of money in a dog,
Breeding's fun.
Oh yeah, the dog gets sick. I mean, you don't say it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's what you got. Like my dogs, every one of them is special in their own way. Like sometimes people say, oh, I have to pick of the litter, but even the pick of the litter, the next one is just as good. Sorry, I didn't talk about chromosomes. They used to do on Twitter on the next one. You want one? Straight up. No, I didn't say that.
That dog gone.
Oh, you never had a dog.
Got rid of your dog?
He got rid of himself, okay? He was in the backyard. He started jumping the fence. Nothing I could do. Look, here's what happened.
Okay,
I wouldn't spend a goddamn thing.
The dog that you said, I want to let everybody know that the story is about to unfold. I had zero. Hold on, fucking listen. Animal control was arrested?
No. They were at the house though. Yeah. So we had the dog, and we had some dudes there doing some work in the backyard. They would leave the gate open, and little by little, the dog would start coming out past the gate. Well, he got to a point where I put up this black fence so that we could keep him in an area where he wasn't where the guys were working, because they were going to do some cement work in the backyard, and they didn't want dog shit, and they didn't want paw prints and all the shit, right? So we put up this like a run, right? Well, he saw them putting it up, and as soon as they put up the last piece, motherfucker turned around and looked at him and said, "Gone," and jumped the fence. And then he would come back 2-3 days. He'd come back and hang out in front of the house. Like, we put food and water out there, so he'd come out and eat, and he'd hang out, come out in the morning, and he'd see us gone, right? So he did that for a while, and then people were like, "Hey, your dog's running around." And then, so then, I posted him like, "Hey, I'm trying to rehome him. I'm trying to do the right thing, right?" But the fucking dog wouldn't stay. So he did that for a few days. His girl couple doors down. I don't know whose dog this is out in front of my house, but he looks emaciated, and somebody needs to come get him. Does anybody know whose it is? It's not my neighbor. Bitch, you didn't go ask nobody because I would have told you it was mine. But anyways, somebody else posted because they saw that I posted. What was that? No. Fuck no. Why would I do that? I was trying to do the right thing, Rob. Fuck. Damn, Rob. Yeah. What? No, you. Well, here's what's fucked up is the lady down the street put some dog food out and a bowl of water for him. The people up the street on the corner put some bowl. I was like, you motherfuckers ain't helping me out right now. Like, what the fuck's going on? Right, so I was like, well, hey, put the bowl and the food away and let them go in their house. Be cool, you know what I mean? Anyways, so apparently he got kind of barky with the fucking UPS guy. And so he was scared to come drop off a package. So I was like, no, hey, he's cool. He's not around here right now, whatever, whatnot. So he fucking, he came, brought me a package, and he left. And then, so the next morning, the guys that were working on my house came and were like, hey, your fucking dog's running around. He knocked over somebody's. So I go out there with a spoonful of peanut butter, right? And right? Hey, dude, I just put that shit there. And it came right over. Huh? So I stood out there for a couple minutes. He comes out and starts looking at the peanut butter. Little by little, I drag him back towards the house where we put a collar on him, put a leash on him. And I tied him up by the front pole for a minute. I'm like, fuck, we got to figure out what we're going to do with him. Like, you know, we can't keep leaving them out in the street because if you fuck somebody up, they're going to come after us. We'll do it, right? So the lady 2 doors down, hey, if you can capture him, bring him to the house, and I have somebody that said they'll come pick him up and they'll take care of him. It's like, cool. So we got him, and we had him tied up in front of the house, right? So then we said, hey, well, I don't want to just leave him by the house. Let's go put him in the back. We'll make hay. All of a sudden, yeah, like everybody's in my fucking business, bro. I hate that shit, bro. I don't even look out my window. I don't want nobody to see me. You know what I mean? So we made a little kennel in the back. We put him in. We had 50, 60 pounds on top of the kennel. And we sat there with him for 5-10 minutes. He was cool, dog. When we walked away, the guy that was working on the back started knocking on my window in the back. Hey, dude, your fucking dog's going crazy. He's trying to bite through the kennel. So I come around the corner, dude, his fucking mouth was all bloody. His nose was all fucked up. And he chomped through the metal, the screen on the fucking kennel. So we stood out there 45 minutes, calming him down, and we finally got him calm, dude. And so I was he's like, hey, I'm gonna let's try to take him out. I was like, hey, dude, he's got this motherfucker got not the kind of takeout you're used to. Let's take him out the cage, right? So he said, hey, let's try to take him out. I said, hey, dude, he's got some blood in his mouth now. I don't know how calm he's going to be when you open that fucking door. I said, so just be ready because I'm going to hold this rock because if that motherfucker start acting up, it's a done deal. It's a wrap. This is my dog, but that's my son, right? Yeah. So now the dog came out nice as fucking all, came up. And so we take him around to the front and we tied him back up to the post in the front. I was on the phone with animal control and I was like, hey, dude, look, I don't know what to fucking do with this dog anymore. He doesn't want to stay in the fucking backyard. He's chewing through this thing. His mouth's all fucked up. He's got blood all over him. Come and fucking get him, dude. What do you want me to do? You're telling me you don't want to come get him, but if he fucking jumps the fence again, you're going to come out because you fucking bit somebody down the street and then it's my ass. I fucking couldn't get him. You seriously going to tell me that you're not going to help me out? All right, cool. What's your name then? Let me write it down. What's your supervisor's name? All right, cool. Here's the time I called. Here's the day we talked about this, yada, yada. So we went and we tied him up by the front pole. I said, I'll go inside, make some more calls, blah, blah, blah. So we're inside and I'm making calls. And somebody calls me about him. Hey, is he friendly with kids? I said, well, he was up until half an hour ago when he bit through the fucking fence. I don't know. I can't guarantee you that. So I let him go. I got off the phone and we went outside. Fucking dog was gone, bro. He was on a rope. That rope was about an inch and a half thick. The motherfucker bit to it and bounced. Gone. Never came back since. But then we were in the backyard and we looked over. Two houses down where that lady lived. Motherfucker was in the backyard. So I was like, cool. And then, no, because then I got a call from the Palm Springs Animal Shelter. Hey, we have your dog. Who this? Who this? My first dog, I don't fucking know. And I was asking everybody, ain't nobody told me shit. Where were you like fucking 3 weeks ago?
You got cameras now, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, everybody got cameras. Shit. And I tell you what, I took all that shit off social media. Nope, I wouldn't give that dog away. Don't know nobody. I'm gone. Hey, look, not gonna find me, huh? Yeah, it was a pit bull mix. A beautiful dog, dude. Like he was a good dog, but just nobody was fucking there. Like it was supposed to be Milo's dog. He wouldn't take care of it. Like, oh, dude, it didn't make no sense to keep him there. They're a lot, dude. Oh, that's right, that fucking movie. That's why you fuckers are laughing. I totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about that movie. It was. Who the fuck was that? At the end, he was on an airplane, and the hot chick was sitting in his lap, and he asked for Peter. He puts it in the coconut and smokes that shit up. Fucking Kevin Hart and Best Man. Come on, where he rented the Best Man, Wedding Ringer. Is in that movie. Man, that was a long fucking way to get there. God damn. Holy shit. I felt like Lou for a minute. So, obviously I'm not a big animal person. And last week I told you guys about my unaffinity for fucking earthworms. Apparently, there's worms in China that they call jumping earthworms. Exactly. So they showed them, they have them in this bucket, and they put the camera on them, and they're just fucking thrashing around like they're fucking trying to jump out of the bucket. It's the most fucking disgusting look I've ever seen, and they're now in the U.S. There's no fucking way. Yeah, there's no fucking way. I'm gonna pass it around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Would you fish for those?
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
What do you fish for when you go fishing?
It's just when I was a kid, it wasn't about what I wanted to catch or anything.
The time hanging out. Well, that's what it turned out for us because, we couldn't catch shit. So, and they asked us the same. We should have gone into a shop, and the lady was like, "What are you trying to catch?" And we were trying to catch some fucking fish. I don't know, like are all the fish the same? But anyways, we got through all that shit and finally figured it out after 3.5 years of fishing.
I didn't want to.
You don't even want to think about it. So when we walked in today into Steve's garage to do this podcast, Sebastian's got on this T-shirt that says "pew pew," and this is such a long-running story in my family with Sebastian that I thought I'd share it with you just because you did that when we walked in. He's going to hate me for it, but, here we go. So, when he was younger, we were like, yeah. And the fucked up part is Ron Short still fucking hit the garage on the way out. All right, man? Austin Powers. So, anyways, it was coming. It was getting close to having that conversation with the birds and the bees and shit or whatnot. And before I had a chance to have the talk with him, his mom bought him a book that explained, the birds and the bees and how babies are made and all that bullshit. Yeah, for Sebastian and his little brother.
He was 7, so I was what?
10? Was it a pop-up book? I thought you were going to say turned on. So he read that book, and then they'd come over that summer, and I was like, hey, so I understand Mom got you this book about, how to make babies or whatnot. Do you have any questions? And I don't remember what his question was, but I was like, well, I said, do you understand how babies are made? And I made him explain it to me, and I said, well, that's kind of right. I said, a man puts his, his shit in the girl or whatever. Right? And I said, puts his shit in the girl, and, after a while, stuff shoots out of him. And he was like, you mean like pew pew? So, I can't fucking watch Star Wars with a straight fucking face anymore. Dog bugs me out. Yeah. It was perfect, though. Yeah, right. So, if you got kids that are young enough for that, just remember to go ahead and use that. You're good. Do you want to share what? No? When I was a kid, I would ask my mom, hey, how are kids made? How are babies made? I said, I'll go ask your dad. So I go ask my dad. I'll show you, or whatever. Go ask your mom. And after a while, I asked, and he said, let's go to the store. So go to the store, and he buys a bunch of baby chicks. And we wait, and they grow, and then, they grow into chickens. And once they were chickens, I asked again. He said, well, go watch the chickens. And I fucking sat there for hours. Like, what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to make a baby? You know what I mean? And you see him, like, the fucking rooster mount the chicken flapping his wings. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, what's he doing? Man, Dad, that dude's fucking that chicken up. Like, what's going on? And so that was how I learned, and you'd sit there, and it was really weird, dude. Like, have you ever seen a chicken lay an egg? No. You have? Okay. Have either of you ever seen a chicken lay an egg? Tony and Steven, they both said no. Rob said yes, and then Ivan and Lou said no. Have you ever seen a chicken lay an egg, Sebastian? Yeah, but on the bus ride over from your little fucking country town, you had chickens on the fucking bus. For your Kumatain training, they didn't make you chase a chicken. Oh, that's right.
Long story short, no, I'm not seeing the damn chicken.
Well, it's weird. When it drops the egg, the shell is moist. It's not hard like when you get it at the grocery store. It's soft. And I remember one where you would have like the run where they sit and they're like on the perch, and then there was like grass or hay and shit inside, so that when they dropped the egg, it didn't just fall on the wood. Well, where the chicken was at, it kind of perched up a little bit and it shit the egg out and it landed on the ridge. First time in my life I ever saw an L-shaped egg, dog. Because once it hardened on that little lip, so it was L-shaped. It's such a fucking trip, dude. You didn't have no rams. Where the fuck did you get a ram from? No. Sheep. Well, when you say bighorn sheep, I think like the ones that are up in the mountain where the white people live.
A male sheep. What is it called?
Just it's a sheep.
Is it? So what's a ram? A ram? What's a goat? Let me tell you, so my buddy, he has a ranch period. He's up there and he's got goats and sheep. Not probably. So, and in the cage at experience. So he tells me, I say, hey man, I'll let him out. So I let him out and I let him out. The male gets aggressive with him. So I said, I'll set these two grand. I'll put him in there. So on the property was another little apartment and there's a lady staying there. And I walk outside and she's pregnant. And I tell her, hey man, be careful, he's a little aggressive, you know. She's like, oh, he just don't like guys, you know, and she's pregnant. I go inside the house, I come out 15 years later. She's all fucked up. She is fucked up, dude. He fucked her up. He fucking ran her to the floor, beat the shit out of her. So he's like, he fucking she can't even breathe. Well, she is, he had a red with her for like 10 years. It's fucking up, right? So then I have to get him in, right? So he sees me, and I see him, and this motherfucker comes at me, dude. And I'm in the driveway, bro, and I just start fucking running, dude. And he's chasing me around my truck, and right when I get around my truck, I grab my pool cord. I fucking smack him in the back of the head, bro. He watches me, I'm stabbing him with the fucking, with the pool cord, fucking looking up. So then he fucking on the truck, that guy in the back, he fucking still trying to get it in the box. So I called my boy, the owner, and I said, hey, give me fucking both of them crazy and shit. So fucking, he's like, he was it's springtime, bro. She said, this is being protecting their family and shit.
We have an announcement. This is one of the few times you're going to hear this, but I think we stand corrected. We stand corrected.
All right. Yeah, but it wasn't a longhorn sheep. That's why, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because y'all motherfuckers are convincing. Dude, he was just sitting next to you right now when he was telling you. You didn't hear it?
I guess it's a part. At one point, I went to she had an egg with her. It was like,
So you, at what age were you brought over? Is that the right way to say it? Like, I don't know.
I didn't really come here easy. We came through the legal process, but I came over at the age of 8 years. Pretty much 99% of my life I've been here.
During summers when you were, because when Mexicans go back to Mexico, they go back for like fucking months.
Yes.
They don't go back for a weekend. So every summer, did you go back to Mexico?
So yeah, no, we just had to follow
Protocol?
the process.
Okay.
So we would, and that's why I love summers as a kid, because we would go out there for 3 months, 2 to 3 months of the year. But we would go to little small town pueblos. I didn't go to a ranch or a farm or anything. So to say that I didn't have relatives that didn't have farms and ranches, but we were one of the few middle class families in Mexico. Mexico is really rich, you're rich and you're poor. There's hardly in between. My family was fortunate that we lived somewhere in between the filthy rich and the dirt.
Oh, very nice.
I know what you got to migrate from the main streets of San Diego. George is in San Diego. He's like, never been a raging artist.
We grandparents were there, and grandparents, until we moved to Montana and was about my 20s. Yeah, so I grew up. So I can't say enough about that now. Because I love it. As a night growing up there, hanging out with my boys, doing everything with the beer there, and it was great. Obviously, the basketball part of it, going to high school and doing my thing, man. And going to state and all that stuff, the great stuff.
So your homies, Clint, Kyle, Chad.
No, my boy, Bill Martin, who I don't think I talked about enough. You guys did my wedding, but that's not my wedding. Mark was my play guard. He's like, soccer and alone, that's what we were, That was my boy. But, yeah, man, I can't say enough about that city. It was cool growing up there because I got two, almost like a Andy Griffith type opposite, you know what I mean? I would ride my bikes over there to where Police on Lake, we talked about fishing, I was fishing there. I had, I don't know how many fishing holes I had. And we just like, mostly black. Mostly black. The neighborhood I was in was mostly black. There was one little block there. Then another block over, you have some Latinos and your best friends at the time growing up. Was, Jeff Linton, minor fan. Still couldn't do work. Minor fan. Yeah, but he was a good dude. He was my experience. They were, but he was my team. Like I said, he's going out there, Disney, they had unique experience, especially, because you're dealing with all different types of races and cultures. And so I enjoy it, That's what I think that Disney, I think there's everything on the train. You know what I mean?
So you had 7 good friends in San Diego. The black and Mexican, they're called Mark, Jeff, Kyle.
What's Jeff's last name?
That's not too far. And it was like he said, it was like he said, I was talking as kids on the bus and we drove to that school. We played that
with pop music and stuff. That's what classic has. And I was with my foster parents, and they didn't know what I did, so I'd be gone for 2 days at a time. And I had a friend, Renee, and I ended up being my daughter. I couldn't even do anything else. But his mom, she took me like one of her. That's actually one of my little couches was he said from Diamond County with me. And then from there, my foster dad was a cowboy fan. It's pretty cool. I used to watch his games. I picture him like my son. You know, tough. Coming after games, like, oh, you said you do everything. He's the only one in the school that quit my ass. Pop me in my eye one day, I dropped him and he was my best friend was here. Bobby Williams, a black dude. He's a school teacher now, man. His brother Damien had an afro punk teeth, but I had to sit down with my sister's first boyfriend. My other friend Patrick, he's actually my friend Patrick now. The one was, he had a baby. Still came in contact with him, but he actually sells T-shirts to Richard Vegas. One day I was like, I seen him, I'm gonna look this fool up, and I looked on Google, and he popped up, and I texted my sister, is this him? She's like, yeah, it's fucking Patrick, man. And this dude is fucking Richard Vegas, bro. And there's no way to get in touch with him. His Instagram, you can't leave nothing in there. And like he calls people like if they want shirts. He does. He runs around the country, the world actually, and finds old Tupac shirts, old Easy shirts, all those, and he sells them to Richard Vegas for 10 grand, 15 grand. Yeah, it's crazy. You can even look him up on YouTube, and you don't even know I'm alive. It's nice to spend months with this dude. What's his name on YouTube, bro? Yeah, I don't know how to get a hold of him. Okay.
So it's crazy. We're talking Niners and Cowboys. Obviously, the majority of you guys here are Cowboy fans. I'm a solo Niner fan here. I know see that's not my Niners. That's not good, but I'll forgive him for that. Yes, yeah. We'll get too much of those, bro.
Say it, I want to see that shit. I repaired it last week.
The point I'm trying to make is like the majority of us in California. Lose to the Dodgers, the Lakers, maybe go to the Kings and some Anaheim fans. When it comes to football, that's one thing that I've noticed. A lot of us Southern Californians don't always see eye to eye. There's those loyal LA fans that root for Rams and some that root for the Chargers. And the Chargers, whether you know it or not, they're actually the original LA, only the first LA team. They went from LA to San Diego, but they were the only true LA football team in the NFL. But it's crazy how we all become fans of other teams in football, but yet when it comes to baseball and basketball, for the most part, we're Dodgers and Lakers for the most part. But I myself became a 49ers fan, and you're saying I was born in Mexico, I was raised over here. I didn't know anything about any other sport but football. A buddy of mine, who was a Niner fan as a kid, invited me to go watch a football game. He said, you like football? I'm like, yeah, I like football. So that's how I became a 49ers fan. Your story is interesting because, you're obviously affected by these people that took you in as their own. And obviously, after that, I can see why you wouldn't want to look for anybody else.
So this podcast, was pretty split as far as like sport fans and watching sports, having sports teams. The other guys don't really follow too many sports or have their teams. What was it that you guys didn't get attached to, or why?
For me, when I was young, my dad he had broke his back. So we never got to throw a football around. Like, he never did any of that kind of shit. Like, he really didn't watch it on TV much. But fighting, boxing, all the time. That was, we saw that whatever the fucking fight was on, it was on. You know what I mean? But football, baseball, none of that shit. Never watched any of it. He used to like this guy. I don't remember if his name was. He would come out and he was dressed like an Aztec shit, but they called him, I think, like Payaso or something like that. Like, he had a real unique name. Yeah. I mean, boxing was long in my family. I got two cousins that were Golden Glove boxers. I have one that was a professional boxer. He had, bro, you just got the shit beat out of you by a ram. You are not going to beat up. It's all right. But I have one primo that was, he was actually an amateur. He had his amateur record. He was 2-0. And he had come home and found his old lady cheating with somebody, and he beat the shit out of both of them and ended up in jail for a while and ruined his career.
So when you're talking about
that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kumite,
fool.
I was like,
he fought the San Dimas way, dude. I'm gonna take your money.
You ever played no video stuff like that? I was really baseball. I played baseball and to go to playoffs when after the first playoff in the program. It was like he had played baseball. I haven't played since. Hopefully, well, something's on. Yeah. I think competitive people, I think naturally, like, people who are competitive, they don't support you. Like, people who, like, playing back shit, they still like sports, but I think it's like, for us, it's like, I take that shit hard, I mean, not as hard as, I think other people like that, no, but people, like, take that shit serious. I take sports serious, bro. Like, baseball, there's so many games, but once the playoffs get into here, I take it serious. You'll watch your good games here and there. Like, I give it up to you guys for truly watching almost every Dodgers. I could barely watch it today, unless I know it's a good game, or they're on a good streak, or something good's happening, or something's on the record. Regular season, but once the playoffs, Lakers, I can watch all day, and playoffs. The Cowboys, I've never missed a game.
I'm gonna say like with baseball, basketball. I'll watch a good portion of the games throughout the season, but not every game. There is a lot of games in basketball and baseball. I can Google everything to know what the score is at times. But football, I truly will watch almost every game that's on TV, even if it's two last place teams playing. I'll go ahead and watch. Not just my favorite team, my Niners. I'll watch every other game because I love football, and it's a short season. And really, when it comes to football, every win counts because it's not like in baseball, basketball, you have 200 games that you can catch up to and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm on the same way when it comes to baseball and basketball. I don't watch every game, but I do watch games. Yeah.
I used to watch football because I was the only kid that was on SUV in the house. So, I like that team because of the Cubs, so I never picked the Steelers. So here's the first time not really. I don't really watch it anymore. I used to because that's all it was on. I know what I did. Some big guys, they take the majority of the hits. I come to the side, check on bike scratch and shit.
All right. So seriously, if you were out of everybody on the table, if you got in a fight, who would you want to be with you?
Truly, that I know it's gonna go on.
Yeah. Tony, if you. Well, yeah, if you were like, say you were late, say you guys went out to dinner or whatever, you're out to dinner with one of your boys and somebody started shit, who would you want that person to be? Yeah? Tony? Who?
I would have to take Big Blue. Big Blue can be in the driveway.
Steven?
That's all I got to take anybody.
Yeah? Right. Who?
I'm the same boat as some of the guys I've taken. One of you guys, I think, would have my back, but if I really had to choose, I'd pick my boy Rob, because Rob, I don't care how big the guy is or how small, Rob is Rob, and he'll come at you with the same attitude and the same I'm gonna beat your ass up attitude. I got to do that guy to fight with a few months ago. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, what's up? I'm like, yeah, it's a nice guy. I ain't gonna know how I feel. I was There's my answer. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, Ivan? You lying.
Doing all the work, so.
I gotta get it done.
Gotta duck and dodge, right?
He likes to run around dodge.
Last couple episodes ago, we talked about Jake Paul, right? And instead of Ben Haskins, and now his brother came to fight Floyd Mayweather. You guys know about that?
Yeah, Paul Logan, right?
That dude's in the hospital with it. You don't play with that dude. No, when you do this case.
Yeah, it's really bad, baby. I think I really see it.
Yeah, I think the entertainment value is there. I'd probably pay to watch it.
Depends on how much they're charging. It's entertainment, but
I hate
take it serious.
giving my money to Mayweather just because of how cocky he is and how ugly he is, but right? But that's the thing. It's entertaining to watch him and think, oh man, maybe that person has a chance, but you know, shoulder roll and stand all sideways and shit.
I don't think so. So, you got that idea? Yeah. That guy's going here.
Yeah, I mean, his brother's the one that's been fighting. So is this brother now giving any fights?
Yeah, but I want to keep on another YouTuber. I think it was like the last time you guys were talking about Ivan Champion, Steve was talking about what these guys are just about. And Nino was talking about now if you train somebody, they have a chance. Now if you just name that's who's going to get destroyed. That's exactly what this
I've never seen him. Well, I actually got to look him up. I seen something on YouTube. On pay-per-view. It's on pay-per-view. It's crazy. I mean, what's drawing these crowds now is that this dude's bringing out with the other one, the brother, so now he's got some hype to him. Yeah, let's see what the brother's about. So they're just bringing money, man. That's all it is. All publicity is good publicity. So he was all in it. So, yeah, and it's one of those moves that's done. So, you know, Tyler, I don't know if he's looking at this. They will I don't know if look into it.
You think maybe they're trying to set up Logan loses and Jake Paul fights Mayweather after that?
That's the money. There's a lot of money right there. That's the money. See, those kind of fights make sense. Like Mayweather coming out and, he's done exhibition before. You know what I mean? Like, okay, fine, too, I want to see that page. Like you know, boxers, like you talk about Canelo, like you would fight a like that. I mean, that makes no sense. Yeah, it's got to be exhibition.
Well, yeah, but what's that going to say to everybody else that's ranked top 10, and this guy come out of nowhere and fight for a belt? Well, but that's the only reason why what Mayweather didn't knock out McGregor, because it was an exhibition and they wanted it to go 10 rounds. What?
He's got a secret in his hair right now. That's running that hair, dude. You know that thing's crazy. I think he was on the Canadian cash at all times.
It's funny that you say that. You know, they were talking about, I think it's Usher that does that. Like, he'll go into. Do you know that personally? How are you looking? You said that like, fuck, dude. You know what? he goes into these nightclubs, right? These fucking gentleman clubs, and drops money. Somebody caught him. It's fucking fake money. The first and the bottom ones are real, and then the bills in between have his fucking face on the bills. How fucked up is that? What was that? Right? Oh shit!
No, I only watch it because she watches it. I mean, like you said, in baseball, I was in baseball, when it starts to get serious, that's when I start paying attention.
Well, what was the reason of you like never wanting to like have a team play or anything?
No, it was just growing up, my mom was single mom. We couldn't play Little League because she couldn't afford it. We couldn't get a ride. So we would just stay home.
How much? He still plays it. How into sports is your wife? Like, does she yell at the TV?
No, she don't yell at the TV,
No?
but she expresses emotions sometimes.
So, like, if her team loses, do you lose? No?
She'll take that serious.
No, okay, good.
She'll say that you're sorry.
Start screaming and see their best friend gonna come front door and hug each other.
Why not?
Man, speaking of sports, speaking of baseball, basketball, you guys seen the new the splurge and this new baseball card phenomenon thing going on, right? People paying crazy money for baseball cards nowadays, and the newer cards, autographs, things like that. I think Mike Trout sold for like $3.7 million the other day, a couple weeks ago. So it's this big old frenzy going on, and it's collectibles, and you buying cards that hoping to get a nice autograph from the rookie guys like Tatis and Bellinger, guys like that. And these cards, you send them in to get graded, and they 1 out of 10. And really good cards are worth a lot of money, especially like LaMelo Ball. My buddy, I went to dinner with last night. He pulled a $25,000 card last night. He gets it graded and checked out properly.
Really?
Yeah, out of a random box, it cost him $30 or whatever. So the reason why I bring this up is because I joined these live breaks, and what you do is you can pick a team for a certain amount of money, or you can do what's called a random. It's like gambling. It's addicting. It's super addicting. We'll drop $300 a day on this stuff. It's insane. Yeah, we've spent crazy money. My buddy Adam, he knows this stuff. He does this stuff with me. But anyways, I had told everybody that I had bought a gift for Sebastian, and this is a part of that gift. So again, these breakers, I deal a break with a guy in Texas. I deal with a guy in Detroit, another one in Vegas. The guys in Vegas I'm really tight with. So they got signatures on every company you think of now. Cabbage Patch Kids, baseball, football, basketball.
He gonna make you cry.
I'm gonna cry. Hold on. So if you make me fun of so they're doing a flash sale. The guys, I got 2 boxes of these left. Anybody wants them? Tell me now. I just happen to be watching. I said, I'll take them. Send them the cash over. He UPS them. I was like, I know somebody's going to take care of those cards right there. He's opening the box and sending from UPS. Came from a card stop. Holy shit.
Oh, that's dope.
So the odds are the Walking Dead card, there's a possibility of them having a signature of one of the aspects in it. So you can open them up and see. And this is what they do this on camera.
Really?
You're buying these boxes, right? You can buy a personal boxes with the range from $200 to $2,000. These people pay for it.
Oh, wow, that's cool, Steve.
So, yeah, the Walking Dead is series 4, I believe, right?
Season
4, part 2, yeah. So, any characters that are in that, involved in that, there's a possibility of a signature from somebody.
That's dope, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's nice. Yeah.
You know what? I was the same way. I was like, I don't like being scared. I don't like watching scary shit like that. You can watch it, yeah. Fuck that. They used to tell us what happened to make you stop watching it?
Season 5. What was the last season when I started watching? I started watching after the last season. Back to I just don't know, like, it just wasn't the same parts. That's like friends like that.
Yeah, I'm on Team Ball here too. This last, I've stopped watching it because it got a little, yeah, it did, and I haven't caught up. I know there's stuff that's happened. I thought it's over, right? The season's over? Yeah. So, same thing, but I am going to watch it as soon as I get time. I just kind of fell off the wagon. I don't know. I followed the season too, and you know, in the beginning, man, the first ever season was I can't wait for the next one. How long? Well,
You know, open them and see if you got a signature.
the night was for that. Landed on my thigh. Somebody's telling me to get my dog. Has anybody got like baseball cards? It's a frenzy on the
So see that look sad. I can tell his hands are shaking.
Yeah.
opening a box of cards. There's several packs.
Oh, shit, dude.
Packs in it. And hopefully, signatures will be there.
Oh, that's gonna take
Playing card.
Yeah, that's gonna take a while to open all those. Yeah, Steven, that was really nice of you, dude. Thank you.
I haven't seen any of these cards.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, yeah.
I got a autographed Tom Brady helmet.
Wow.
We get ready for a Patriot. It's a red speed helmet. It's put in the helmet.
Tell everybody what you got. Yeah.
So this one's called Bob and Sasha going with the bus.
Okay.
The prison bus. This is Glenn. Never seen it yet.
Okay.
Pass these around. This is Glenn and Badass.
That was before his eye popped out.
Yes. This is Sasha. Oh, this is the front end again.
Okay.
Well, I know that's about started shaking their name. It's not the baseball card. And then this is the charm.
That's really cool. Man, those are cool. They're buried, dog.
Yeah, there's zombies. There's zombies. They weren't walking like clean the dress of the show. That was great.
And here's his brain on weed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can find it says look for randomly inserted autographs, wardrobe, and comp cards. So some of these cards are back to these baseball cards was made like a phenomenon. Now you put just a jersey inside the card. And I feel a little thicker nowadays.
Oh, wow.
So game over jersey inside my signature. I got a Dodger Evie Reed's design. Is that what? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got that sushi? No way, bro.
Oh, shit. Nice.
We put it out. That's what's up.
Nice. Yeah. That's Selena right there, bro.
That's what's interesting when she touches cars. Wow.
That's way dope, dude. That's really cool.
I'm opening the fucking wrist.
Yeah, right? The fingers are going to be all bandaged tomorrow when he goes to work. Okay, you can give him a hug. I know, right? That's awesome, dude. I know, right? Yeah. Get your cameras out. He's gonna hug another man. Hold on.
So what they do is when you put his cards live, they'll put them in a sleeve and a little case so that you don't fuck with the signature on that red. Yep.
Well, yeah, when we went to, so for his 21st, 20th birthday, right?
Yeah, he didn't go to that. I almost went to take my girl. No, I can tell the story.
So on his 20th birthday, I took him to a live recording of The Talking Dead, that show that's on afterwards. And we got to meet Chris Hardwick. He comes out and shakes everybody's hand, gave him a business card. I was like, hey, man, the radio station made my son do. Would love to interview you, blah, blah, blah. And I gave him a card and said, hey, would you mind signing another one? And he signed the fucking card for him. And that was really cool, dude. It was dope. No, what it is it's a show after the Talking or The Walking Dead that talks about the episode. It's really kind of cool. Yeah, they're on season 10 right now, bro. The dragon lady, bro. Yeah. No, I said the dragon. Mother Dragon, bro. Nah, Mother Dragon, bro. You need to go see that shit. And when you see Mother Dragon, you call me. It's a show about a family that had the right to a throne, and how all these different families were fighting against each other and fucking each other over to gain the land and the throne. Yeah, it's like a game of fucking chess, but a movie. It's fucking dope, dude. Yeah, well, it's a show. No. He said East Side London, get the fuck out.
Smaller gangs and some of these smaller gangs are affiliated with one gang or another.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Everybody's trying to knock each other up to the top, or at least get particular families to a sleep, but still, it gets a little confusing after a while, but it all ties back in almost towards the end. But it's a good series.
That's dope.
I like Danny, but it was a good series.
That's a pretty wide question. Narrow it down a little bit. What do you mean, like?
How does the war set this going on? Crazy. Crazy and then he's out.
Well, yeah, they went from fucking you out in the open to fucking you in the dark. Everything just went back to normal, and everybody just kind of went back to
Nothing has changed. Maybe there's something different, but I haven't seen my life affected in a negative or positive way to an extreme. There's one president versus another. Not to say that there isn't small, microcosmic things that happen that could affect my lifestyle, but for the most part, when there's a change of atmosphere in DC, it hasn't really affected me and my family to an extreme like other people probably, because I'm in a certain income where it doesn't affect me one way or another, to one extreme or another. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. And Rob, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Maybe just, it might tag you a little bit, but your kids are a little bit younger. When Trump was in office and he was all the disparaging shit about Mexicans and all that bullshit, right? And they started rounding up Mexicans and they would, whatnot, ISIS and ICE and all that shit, right? So, did you have the conversation with your kids of, hey, just because you live here in the U.S. and you have a very good vocabulary, you speak English really well, at the end of the day, when they see your last name, you're still a fucking beater.
So, many conversations with my kids for many reasons, because even though my kids have grown up, I don't recognize them, we come from 3 generations of veterans. Myself, being a Marine, my father, their grandfather, being a veteran in Vietnam in the Navy, and my wife's grandfather, so their great grandfather was a veteran during World War II for the Army. So they really don't know much about their Mexican ancestry because, one, I've never really sat down in school, and I probably should. Shame on me. But they have always taken pride knowing that they come from that kind of a background.
Right.
One of my kids had a sweater that says, I didn't choose to be Mexican. I was just born lucky that way. So it's crazy because I've never raised them to be like, we're from Mexican descent, to be proud. I did raise them to not be ashamed of their background, but never to play it up like brown pride and this, that, but to be proud of who you are, but be grateful for the country that you live in.
Right.
So they're falling into this, I hate Trump kind of attitude. And I had to talk to them and say, look, you can't hate a whole party because of one person. I said, you have family members who are super pro-right, and you have family members who are the complete extreme left. So you can't hate a whole party based on a person, because that's what's happening here with this president who's stereotyping your people, your culture, right, based on a few bad seeds. And me as a veteran, when I heard him talking about we need to, build a wall to secure our country, to keep drugs from coming in, I was like, damn right, yes, I applaud you for that. Yes. And then, it's just like, you're building me up, we got to build the wall because of this and that, and to keep these Mexicans out. I was like, it's like a scratch record just playing in the back of my head.
Hold on. You still haven't answered the question. What? I gotta bring you back around, bro. Right, you're riding off in the fucking sunset already. What conversations did you have with your kids? Because you said you had two, and then so it was the one about not choosing a party or being angry at the whole party because of one person. What's the other conversation?
Yeah, that's also um, there are Americans here, let's be realistic. Everybody looks at us from a different culture. The first thing they think is Mexican, not American, regardless of the fact that you guys don't even speak Spanish.
Right.
And some of you have never been south of the border. My kids.
I've been twice.
No. I'm talking about
your kids? Oh, okay. It's hard for me to realize that. I thought you said to get their brakes done. Like what? Oh, braces. I thought braces too. We dropped the car off at the auto mechanic.
I haven't really been out in our town since they don't remember being there, except for all these others had slight memories of being there, but that's about it. So, because even though you don't speak Spanish, guess what? Everybody's gonna look at you now, Mexican, illegal, or we have it. So, at the same time, I'm trying to teach my kids not to judge people, regardless of you, even those who are part of that party who are looking down on a certain culture, mainly ours at the time, because not everybody who's in that party thinks that way, feels that way. So yeah, it was a difficult time for me and my kids to try to teach them that we can't be generalizing like our president at the time is doing to us right now. We can't generalize either.
Right there, Steven. Sorry. What about your kids? Your kids are young, but did you how old is your oldest?
She's
12. Yeah, maybe around the time you would probably have a conversation like that with them, maybe lightly. But is that something that you ever thought about, or?
That's not really. I mean, me personally, I'm super whitewashed, like third generation, and never have white.
Yeah. So they're white. I mean,
they're good. Yeah, they have a lot more privileges than we did growing up, and especially before that.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna have much of an issue until they do when you have conversations like that. But for the most part, they're still innocent.
Right. Tony, did you ever have a conversation like that with your kids?
No.
No? Rob? Yeah, so you were good? All right. Rob?
My daughter lives in Texas, of course. She grew up in Trump. This around, and I don't feel it.
Right.
There's a lot of bad that he did. He did some good things.
I had to have a conversation with Milo. I had it with Sebastian too, but a little bit more with him when all this shit happened. I was like, hey, dude, you need to know what your social security number is. You need to know what your address is. You need to know all this shit. I said, because at the end of the day, you look really white, but when they see your last name, you're just like every other Mexican that they're talking about. And you need to get that through your head. I don't care, like you were raised very white, you grew up in a very white neighborhood, but you were the Mexican that lived in that neighborhood. When they go back and they tell us, hey, there was this one Mexican kid who lived down the block from me, they're talking about you. Understand that. I said, and no matter where you go in the world, whether it's in the workforce or whatever, when they look at you, if something's going wrong or they're going to talk about you to be that, they're going to remember that you're Mexican and they're going to put that in the conversation. Because there's this one Mexican dude that I work with. It always starts out this way. Hey, this one Mexican dude I went to high school with. There's one black kid I used to hang out with. It's always that same bullshit, right? It's never just a story about a person. I said, so you have to understand that you're going to be put in this category no matter where you are in life. That's because that's the way people talk. I said, fuck them. No, I'm just kidding. What do you mean, what about them? Well, I'm sure that they got the opposite of of whatever somebody would call an Uncle Tom. You know what I mean? Somebody that was black and acted or did shit the right way. You know, because I don't think that it's not acting white or acting black. It's just doing shit the right way, making good decisions. And people would call them that the same with us. Oh, you're turning your back on your people.
I'm talking like white people went through it in school.
But that's what I'm saying. I think they went through the same shit. Absolutely. Oh, you want to be fucking Mexican? Well, no, bro. That's who I hang out with. Like, that's where I live. Like, yeah, absolutely.
I just know, like I said, I've been around other people, all different from the watching all of it. Some white people went through some shit because of our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been to the county jail? You see what their white people go through? Oh, they get beat up, there's lunch taken, no shoes. It's bad, right? And they just got, they're millionaires that got thrown on for DUI and they're in the county jail. They see, they're getting the holy shit beat out of them.
Right? Said they were just around around, got no shoes, got no pillow, got no.
Holy shit. Actually, our people are actually in prison as you sounded.
He said that's where we even shit out.
They had, I don't know if like in prison, they were getting so fucked up in the counties that they got all these, people working on the jail for domestic violence, for DUIs, for stupid shit, and they hit the counties and they get beat up, fucking stomped out all day long. So the whites made a deal with us that we protect them, we won't let nothing happen to them. The people with money, they would take care of us financially, and if anything was to jump off, they would push money. So say there was a riot, whites go first. Well, we get our shit, no matter what. So that was the deal. So after a few years, they were able to hang on with us.
And you guys brought them under the wing and saved them.
Yeah.
So when you say they took care of us, I mean they put money in your books?
No,
Outside? Got you.
A lot of people, there's people that are the white gangs in prisons. I mean, they've got people in high places, really high places, So they pretty much can do whatever they want. And we have power, and we have no fear. That's why we run shit.
Right.
And nobody wants to tell the story about his cousin right now, but you can be quiet.
Yeah.
You're good? All right.
Yeah. But that was back then, But it's crazy. There's a lot of people who are really smart stuff. They just made a wrong mistake.
Yeah. There's a lot of dumb people in there that went in there that got smart while they were in there. You know what I mean? Like,
he killed his son in 1986. Dude, I'm telling you. So the story when I got to prison, he's like, hey man, what's your business? Hey man, I would never step on the wrong side of the back of that. So he was selling dope and he had his own concrete business. And he was working for this guy. He was selling big time, drugs for the cartels or whatever. He was shipping it up north. And I guess the dude's brother passed away. So his brother shows up and tells him, hey, where's my brother's money? And the guy tells him, like, hey man, we got this going. I'm sorry, brother, that killed you. It takes like a month. You got a week to get my brother's money. So this dude was doing a job, and the guy had gold bars in his safe. So this dude, he knew it. So he was remodeling the guy's house. So he went in there and he broke in and shit. He grabbed the safe, and as he grabbed the safe, the homeowner comes in and says, hey, and his name was Joseph. He said, Joe, what are you doing? And he's like, hey man, I got in a bad situation. I need this. I can't even. The guy's like, no man, you ain't taking that. And the guy shoots him. He goes to shoot him in his leg, and the guy goes down to grab his leg, and shoots twice a second when it's moving back to the hip.
Oh, wow.
So he's on the run. They know he does it. He's on the run. He rolls up.
So wait a minute, he didn't die?
No, the Mexican.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
He ends up getting chased into a lumber. He fucking goes everywhere in the lumber in the hospital. There for like 20 some hours.
And he had the safe with him?
No, this was after.
Oh.
They got the money and stuff. They ended up finding out it was him. He got out the lumber. And then, so he ended up doing a mission. They gave him life without consequences. In prison, he kills himself.
Jesus Christ.
Chokes him to death. So this was in '86. So they didn't give him a cellie until like 20 years later. He's in the hole again. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, I'll kill this one too. He was bad, bro. He made extremely out of his boxers. What was this related to? He saw the
I don't know. This really show was brought to you by your local block and safe company.
Well, at first when you started the story, I was like, this one we're selling Hangover 3.
So we're not going to make the moral of this whole story. It's past 10 minutes.
Oh no, he can talk. That motherfucker can talk. Hey.
Alright, so right now,
hey, by the time you get to the lawyer, she'll be
Fuck. You know, I've interviewed a lot of people and been with people. You are, oh shit, bro. You are one bike riding motherfucker, dude. Yeah, right?
You're not out. You should have a shot glass every time Ron mentions the story about someone dying out there and shot.
That's good. Very, very good. All right, any final words from anybody? Ivan? Fuck that dog. Go ahead, what were you saying? Sorry. Lou, any final words? Like, just like 2 or 3, fucker, not like...
I took the quick shot. Yeah, he got recognized as a freshman music performer at the University of Maryland. So kudos to myself.
Right, congratulations. Steven, any final words?
Yeah, man, I just want to shout out to the justice system. I think they did very well this time around. They got it right. So I think for once in a long time. So I think it was a good day for Americans, a good day to be American. So
I agree. Tony?
Yeah, my nephew AJ's birthday this Sunday. He's 35.
happy birthday, Steve.
He's doing 25. No jokes allowed though. Just say you're 25. Yeah. So happy birthday, AJ.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rob. Any final words?
My brother's birthday.
I know, right? Smash, any final words? Cool. Happy birthday to my older sister on the 26th of this month. I can't believe you're that old. Shit. And Sebastian's going to take us out. Let's go. I didn't know we would pick this one.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, I guess understand me anything. You play something you made, whatever you want. Yeah. You want to sing it? You want to sing us out, Louis? No, it was. Good night, Desert.